Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to take a look at 10 great PC game deals that are available right now across a plethora of platforms. Went over a few of these in previous videos, not all of them. Couple bundles here, a couple of subscription services, one subscription service actually. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Off the top, let's go over some of the deals that are available at Humble. Humble's got two bundles that are quite good. First of all, I mentioned this a few times, Best of Bandai Namco bundle. So how this bundle works is you can get one item for $1, 4 items for $12. You can beat the average at $19.31 for 7 items, or you could go all in and pay $20 for 9 items. Now, how this works is $20 will get you all 9 games, and you can adjust where your money goes. You can either give money to Bandai Namco Entertainment, you could give it to charity, you could give it to Humble itself, and I am a Humble partner, so you can throw me a couple bucks if you want as well. You get to adjust the sliders and do it however you like, but the bundle itself is really good with Code Vein, Project Cars 3, Tales of Zestiria, Tales of Persia, Rad, Little Nightmares Complete Edition, Tekken 7, Tales of Persia, Katamari Damacy Reroll, and Pac-Man 256. Now, from a Tales of standpoint, if you're a fan of JRPGs, I love the franchise. Tales of Zestiria is one of the weaker ones in the series, but still pretty good. Tales of Berseria is awesome. A lot of people consider that to be the best in the series, so that's definitely a good addition in this bundle. Code Vein is pretty solid. Tekken 7 is a great fighting game. Fighting games on PC are a little bit of a niche, though. Project Cars 3 is a good addition. Little Nightmares Complete Edition is awesome. Rad is a pretty good addition. Katamari Damacy, not bad. And Pac-Man 256. So all of that for $20 I think is quite good. And again, you can throw some money to charity and Humble and Bandai Namco and myself as well, and you get to choose where the money goes. Okay, same deal here with the Guilty Gear bundle. We're coming up on the release of Guilty Gear Strive, so if you want to get your Guilty Gear on with some of the classic Guilty Gear titles, you can do that. You can get a 2-item bundle for $1, a 5-item bundle for $9.69, or you could get 8 items for $10. It's probably the route you want to go. Once again, you choose where your money goes, and you've got Guilty Gear Xrd Reveltor Deluxe Edition, Xrd Rev 2 Upgrade, Xrd Signed Big Blast Bundle, Guilty Gear XX A Core Plus, Guilty Gear 2 Overture, which is a little bit of a, not the greatest game in the world, shows its age for sure, Guilty Gear X2 Reload, and then Guilty Gear Asuka as well. So, a lot of fighting games here. Guilty Gear's lore is kind of wild. Like, if your brain doesn't start hurting after playing or really looking into the Guilty Gear lore, you're not doing Guilty Gear right, but they're very stylish fighting games. And 8 titles for $10 is pretty good. And then lastly, on the Humble store itself, they are running a pretty good Capcom sale. I don't want to limit it to one deal because there's a lot of good ones here. Monster Hunter World Iceborne Master Edition is down to $34.78, so while that's expensive, you're getting Monster Hunter World and the Iceborne expansion, essentially hundreds of hours of gameplay. Resident Evil 2 is on sale, Resident Evil 7, Dead Rising 3, Onimusha Warlords, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, Devil May Cry 5, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which is excellent. You got a bunch of the Street Fighter games, Strider, Mega Man titles. I can go on and on. Really can't go wrong with any of those pickups there, and those will all redeem on Steam. Every Humble deal that I mentioned will redeem directly on Steam. Alright, so those are the Humble deals. Next up, we got some deals on Games Planet. They've got some really good stuff right now. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom is 87% off for $7.99. Excellent JRPG here, especially for this price. While I don't think it's as good as Ni no Kuni 1, Ni no Kuni 2 still offers quite a charming experience. And if you want a gateway JRPG, like the first JRPG you ever play, Ni no Kuni actually isn't a bad one, and $8 for this is quite good. Speaking of JRPGs, let's shout another one. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition is 72% off for $13.75. Content-wise, this might be one of the best value deals that you can pick up because you get 2 games. You get Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth as well as Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. They reuse a lot of content between the 2 games, but they are both quite good, and you know, they have a more narrative focus than I would say the typical Pokemon game does, and I'm a big Digimon fan. I was a big Digimon fan growing up, and Digimon was really the monster collecting series I was more into than Pokemon, so to me, it calls back on that, but it's a well-made turn-based JRPG as well. $13.75, I think, is a good pickup on that. Next up, Dying Light Platinum Edition, 77% off for $22.99. This is Dying Light and literally all the content. They've re-released Dying Light so many times, but this is the version that you want to buy if you want to play Dying Light 1. Of course, Dying Light 2 is coming out December 7th, but if you want to play the first game, this includes all the content, the base game, following Enhanced Edition, and a bunch of other DLC packs and other in-game items and things of that sort. $23 for it. Still a little bit pricey given that, it came out in early 2015, but for all the content you're getting, I think this is pretty good, and if you do want to get into the game and you haven't picked it up yet, this is definitely the version to buy. And last games plan deal that I do want to mention, Prince of Persia 2008. Now, this will redeem through Ubisoft's Uplay service. It is 80% off for $1.99. I love this game. If memory serves me correctly, this game was not originally supposed to be a Prince of Persia title. They just kind of slapped the POP name on it. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that is what happened, but this is a great game. Visually, it is stunning. Like, it still holds up really well today. The only, complaint you can have with the game is that it is insanely easy, ridiculously easy. This game really is not hard at all, and you can beat, anybody can beat this game. It's pretty straightforward, but it's still a very enjoyable game, very gorgeous, platforming is great, and for $2, I mean, that is such a good pickup that I feel like that's an easy recommendation. Alright, so those were the Games Planet deals. Now we move on over to some deals on Steam. Disco Elysium, the final cut, is 35% off for $26. If you want a game with a very, very narrative-driven focus, a lot of replayability with a lot of decision-making, Disco Elysium is something you should absolutely pick up, and this is the improved Final Cut edition. I played the original when I played it when it initially came out. It is just such a well-made game, and some of the best writing that you are going to find out of a video game. I mean, it's got a 96 on Metacritic. And if you're into these kinds of games, it's just going to be right up your alley. Again, it is very much more on the nuanced detective style of gameplay and not necessarily guns blazing, action-oriented, crazy things happening left and right and explosions everywhere. But there's a lot of very, very emotional moments and very wild moments from a storytelling standpoint, and $26 still might seem a little bit expensive, but I'm telling you guys, if you're into story-driven games, this is one of the top-tier games you can pick up, and definitely worth a look, especially with this Final Cut version. Also on Steam, Borderlands 2 is 75% off for $4.99, while the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC is $8.79. It's Borderlands 2. It's awesome. Even if you're gonna play this game solo, it's great. If you got a couple of friends that you can play with as well, even better, but either way, it is a great first-person shooting RPG experience, a lot of looting, a lot of different guns. In my opinion, Borderlands 2 is the best in the franchise, bar none. I think it's better than Borderlands 3, and it's gotten a very strong reception for a reason. And this was one of the very first games I got on PC. Actually, I believe I got it with my GTX 660 Ti back in 2012. I think they were doing a promotion. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is how I got it. Yeah, I love Borderlands 2. It's a great game. Highly recommend it. Go check that out. And then we have a couple more deals to mention. Green Man Gaming has got Max Payne 3 70% off for $5.95. Another very good game. Unfortunately, it does redeem through Rockstar Social Club and not Steam, so just bear that in mind. But even if you got it on Steam, it'll have to go through Rockstar Social Club. It is one of those games that's very mature, and yeah, definitely not for the younger audience out there. A lot of blood, a lot of swearing, and it's relatively, a lot of games will have a mature tone, but they also take it from a more fantasy aspect. This has that realistic element that I feel like does give it an added element of that mature tone, if that makes sense, but $5.95 for it, I think, is quite good, so do go check that out. Obviously, the slow-motion gun shooting ain't all that realistic, but hey, it's still pretty cool, and visually, this was one of the games that back in 2013 when it came out really brought PCs to their knees, or 2013, 2012, around that time, brought PCs to their knees, but nowadays, you can run it pretty easily. And then lastly, I do want to give a mention that Ubisoft Plus, the subscription service, is $6 for a month right now. It'll give you access to literally every Ubisoft game and all the DLC for as long as you're subscribed. So it's typically $14.99, which I think is just a little bit too expensive for a subscription service, but at $6 for your first month, you could try to bum rush through AC Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legion, The Crew 2, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I mean, all those games are on here, and all the legacy games are on there, all the old school Assassin's Creed titles, AC4, AC Odyssey, AC Origins, all that stuff is on here, so it's a lot of content for $6. $15 might be a bit much, and you might want to cancel it after that first month unless you're really enjoying the games and you want to keep playing them, but $6 for your first month, I think, is a pretty good pickup. So, that is going to wrap up this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Anything that I mentioned in this video will have a link in the description box below. All the things that are applicable, they will have affiliate links, so I get a little bit of a kickback to the channel, supports the channel, and it'll help it grow and help me pick up games. And there's a couple of things I want to do in the near future. Hardware is obviously super expensive right now, so we'll see what we can do there. But as always, guys, thanks for the support recently. That's going to wrap up this one. If you guys have a request for a future video, comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.